As the title suggests, this is What If Naruto Was a Psychic? Now, this is obviously a inspired by Mob Psycho 100, but he's not going to be like a reincarnation of Mob. It's just inspired by concepts like that. So in this, Naruto's like psychic powers is called Pile. He absorbs the power of spirits he kills. Like he absorbs the power of spirits he kills, and with that power, he is able to create new powers. They're not new skills or new attacks or stuff like that. So, uh, the birth is normal, but Minato has Kurama, as Minato is a psychic and he's a part of what's called the Psychic Core. The Psychic Core is where all of the people that were born with psychic powers, because in the world in this alternate universe, people are randomly born with psychic powers, and most people don't really know about this if you're not like a high up ninja. But more, but people are born with psychic powers randomly, and they're put into psychic core when they're born, because you can tell when they're born. But Minato has Kurama because he has psychic power. So if you're asking, since Minato is the Hokage, he is obviously a powerful psychic. How did Obito kill him? Obito has had latent psychic powers that didn't activate until his Mangekyo Sharingan activated. So Naruto doesn't have the chakra from Kushina when he was in her womb, but the way that that's counteracted when Minato does the sealing for Kurama, he puts some of his psychic energy into Naruto. Uh, and Naruto already still had, even with like psychic powers himself, he had more power. He had a lot more chakra, anyways. But this just boosts it up. So yeah, Naruto's powers Naruto's psychic powers went under the radar, as they were still there. It's just they couldn't really tell. They obviously went through because like Minato is an incredibly powerful psychic, so they have to make sure. But they checked and it didn't. Now Naruto did have his powers, and Kurama in this is he doesn't help Naruto off the bat, but he doesn't hinder him either. He doesn't like make him he doesn't hinder him. He he's just neutral, really. He's just watching what Naruto is doing and how he does it. Naruto over his years, he trains with his psychic powers in secret. With the power, a psychic power that Minato put into Naruto, he how do I put this? He gave Naruto awareness from like the second he was born. So Naruto has been aware since he was born, aware of everything since he was born. So Naruto could walk at like 6 months old. He could talk at like 8 months old, and he could put cohesive sentences together before he was one. And he could do normals, like he could do acrobatics at like age 1. He could do like perfect acrobatics. By the time he was like 1.5 years old, he was able to pretty much he was able to do ninja stuff. Obviously not to the point of like a guinea, but he was able to do ninja stuff. So over his younger years, he trained with them, and up to like age 3, he wasn't really doing anything. He was killing normal. He was killing like normal low level spirits, absorbing their power, making new things. So his power allows him to, whenever he absorbs, he can either strengthen or create new abilities. So Naruto at this point, and obviously each level has like different amounts of spirit, like energy um energy that Naruto can absorb. So Naruto at this point, over the year up to age 3, he's only really been able to make one technique. It's where he creates red orbs of power on his fingers. He made this when he was about 2, so he's been practicing with it for about a year at this point. He can create them on his fingers, and he can throw them out off his fingers. So he's been doing low level spirits. Now, the way that the spirit ranks work in this story, in this story at least. Oh shit! Sorry. In this story at least, there are there's low spirits, which again you can do with like some difficulty, not like a lot, but some difficulty. Mid low level spirits, they're the same, just a bit more difficulty. Then high low spirits, again you could do it with high difficulty. With it's not like super high, but he like they wouldn't be able they would have to make sure they're paying attention like 100%. Next is low mid. A shooting could do this with some difficulty. Same with mid level, but a bit more. And then it goes again for high mid. Tunings could do it with high difficulty. Uh, then low high. A Jonin could do with some difficulty. Same with mid high, and then a Jonin can do it with high difficulty for high spirit ranks. And then there above high is beyond. Then Kage Plus would have to be sent to take down these. Obviously, psychics are different. These are just like the basics. Obviously, like some psychic. Obviously, you don't have to be a Kage level fighter to be a Kage level psychic. But like, you would have to be at least for like, you'd have to be a pretty high ranking ninja to be that. So yeah. So yeah. So Naruto is doing low level spirits, but at age 3, while he's in the woods at night, a centipede that's about the size of a 6 foot 7 foot tall human. He has giant muscles and sort of like rocket exhaust shooting out of his back, sort of like the boss from episode 1 of um, Mob Psycho. Uh, so yeah, but it's like he's like super buff. He has like rockets shooting out, and he has a giant staff. Sort of like it's a staff where um it has like a loop at the top of it that has like a that has a giant knob. It has like a little loop at the top of it with the rings in it, and then on the bottom it has like a stud or like a butt. Yeah. So this is a low mid level spirit. This is 3 levels above what Naruto usually is fighting. So Naruto can tell that this guy is incredibly powerful. So he's ready to run away, but the guy almost flash steps sort of, and a sort of orange aura goes and coats his foot, sort of like armor, and bent and slams Naruto across the face into a tree. Naruto's like Naruto's eye goes red as blood is dripping out of his head at this point. Naruto knows that it'd be pretty much like impossible for him to do this, but he's like I can't even. He knows that he would most likely die if he like tried to run, and even if he fought, there's a high chance he would die. But he's like, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die an honorable death. So Naruto jumps up and he waits for the enemy to move, and he uses some power. He uses some of his like psychic power to forward to his eye that's not covered in red and like blood, and he waits for the enemy. He waits for his enemy to move. He sees him move, and he notices how he does like the sort of orange thing. he sort of does a he sort of powers his psychic energy through his foot, like through his body, and then at the last possible second before the hit, he encases his foot in it, and like in the sort of armor to do the attack. Naruto dodges this, but he does the same thing with his staff and hits Naruto across the head with his like golden staff. Naruto backflips, lands on his feet, and says, "Who who are you? What's your name?" The spirit laughs and says, "My name is Kyosho. I am the embodiment of the fear. I am the embodiment of the fear of trees." Naruto just is dumbfounded. He's like, I understand it's a fear, but damn, you are. I'm sorry. The guy says, shut up, you dumb kid." Naruto then backflips, lands on a tree, and does the same thing that Kyosho did, and blasts forward. Kyosho is incredibly surprised. He barely sidesteps it, but Naruto did the thing where he put a red ball. He put all of the red balls, because he can put 5 red balls on his fingers. He put them all into his index finger, and did the thing where he coated his finger with the like psychic energy. And at the last possible second, he infused all of the psychic energy in his finger into the ball, and tapped Kyosho on like the chest as he was going by, and Kyosho exploded backwards. He ran into a tree. He like hit a tree, and he like went to the ground on one knee. Naruto like put his hand out and did the thing did like these he did the thing where he did the energy thing, the energy armor thing, to stop himself with a sort of gust of energy out of his hand. Naruto looks at his hand and says, "It seems that if I do some chakra training, some chakra training stuff, I could actually make my psychic energy better." Because he doesn't have chakra, he has psychic energy. So Naruto sits down in a meditation pose, and he starts trying to feel his surroundings a little bit with his psychic energy. Nothing like incredibly powerful. It's just he can like see outlines of trees. He can't really see outlines of anything. He can't see outlines of anything else really. Not even really the enemy in front of him. But so he does that, and he says, I'll just train a little bit more." So then Naruto gets the red balls back on his fingers, and he absorbs them into one again, and tries to do the same thing to Kyosho. But Kyosho seemed different whenever he got up. He jumped into the tree. Did the same thing that Naruto did, as like Splat like launched off it, but didn't go for Naruto to like hit him or kill him. He just went past him, and then he kept doing the same thing over and over again, bouncing off of like multiple trees. And Naruto couldn't even see the like after image of him. But Kyosho comes out of nowhere with a glowing orange golden staff, and broadsides Naruto across the head. Just and Naruto could feel all of the psychic energy in this staff go into that one point. Naruto's head gets blasted. His body carried by his head's momentum. He's blasted through almost like 10 to 20 trees. Naruto gets up and actually starts crying blood and starts coughing up blood. Naruto is just like he's crying and coughing up blood. Naruto knows that he is going to most likely die here. Kurama, Kurama sees this and says, "Kid." Kurama's chakra would be converted into psychic energy whenever it touches like Naruto's psychic energy. So Kurama just gives Naruto a little bit of his power, and it converts into psychic energy. Naruto Naruto then does the red bullets thing, but they're bigger, and he goes into the concentrated one. He puts his hand up, sort of like a finger gun. He concentrates, and he says, "Red bullet, concentrated blast." He he does a shooting motion, and the red orb flies forward. It hits Kyosho in the chest, almost, and it doesn't go all the way through, creating like a hole. But his there's an indent, like a hump of where it hit, all the way through his back. Kyosho starts coughing up like ectoplasm, and he just like goes to the ground. It's like, damn, this kid's fucking strong. Naruto feels this, and he feels that like somehow he's just been healed. He notices that this he notices this, and he concentrates, and he notices that he might be able to create a technique like this, a technique um like this when he's done with this. So Naruto runs, and he jumps up, and then he does a rotating kick, and then at the last possible second before he hits Kyosho, he does a he has so much concentrated psychic energy in that one hit, it blasts Kyosho's head straight into the ground, and Kyosho, like, it looked like he was about to scream, but he was muffled by like the ground. He like sticks his head out. He like starts coughing up more ectoplasm. Kyosho says, "Damn, kid." Kyosho then says, "I have one more trick. If this doesn't work, I'm dead." The staff absorbs into him. Then he puts his index fingers together. He starts bringing them out slowly, and it looks like almost like red red electricity with like blue or black, like blue outlines starts coming off his fingers. Then he goes into his whole hands, and just a stream of electricity, of like red electricity with blue outlines, and then it condenses into a orb that's perfectly spherical. But it looks like a tiny electrical storm is going on inside of it. So he throws that up into the air, and then the spear, like the staff, reappears. He jumps up, and then throws it with the circle part. As just like a little nub at the top of it. He throws it, and the nub hits it perfectly in the center of the sphere, and the entire staff absorbs into it, and the ball flies. Naruto could Naruto tries to dodge it, but he gets hit. He gets like scraped across his cheek, and Naruto felt as if his head was exploding. It didn't explode actually, but it felt like it was exploding. Naruto Naruto started ripping through hundreds of trees, and the explosion was silent. When it hit the ground, there was an explosion, but it was silent and invisible. There was no explosion. Naruto could see the explosion, but to anyone else, you couldn't see the explosion. Kyosho lands on the ground, and he says, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to use that on a child, nonetheless." He starts walking forward to go try to see if he can pick up his spear, his his staff. But Naruto gets up and he clasps his hands together in a praying motion. He sits on the floor and he literally feels as if he feels like a strike of lightning hit him. Naruto opens his eyes and they're sparking of electricity. Naruto Naruto summoned a lightning bolt and is using the residual shock from it to do this attack. He blitzes forward at like a literal lightning pace, at a lightning speed, and he grabs Kyosho's head and he puts his hand in like a flat motion and slams it with his fingertips all the way through Kyosho's head, grabs the other side of his head, and um grabs the left side of his head, then takes his left hand and grabs the right side of his head, then rips his head open from the inside out, and then with the remaining residual shock, he puts his hand on his neck, on like Kyosho's neck, and then electrocutes to the point of his body just frying into nothing, into ectoplasm as Kyosho dies. Naruto goes and looks for this staff. He does find it. He picks it up. Then something weird happens. The staff turns from gold. It turns from gold to black, then to white, and then it goes into this point where it keeps changing between black and white. Naruto Naruto then feels something inside the staff. He gets sort of shot into a half black, half white world where these two visages of like images of himself are fighting. Naruto can feel that this isn't like inside of himself, but it's more or less inside of a alternate realm. Naruto goes over and asks what they're doing. The white one says, "We're trying to see who gets the staff." Then the black one says, "Yeah, and I'm gonna be the one." The black one then tries to throw a punch, but Naruto catches it. Says, "Why don't you just share the staff?" The white one says, "Because we're opposites." And then Naruto says, "But you're inside me, which means you're both halves of me, which means in a sense, you're the same because opposites attract each other." The black one says, "I mean, he has a point, White." Shut the hell up, Black. Naruto then just says, "So, how are you guys a part of me?" Like, then White says, "We're the manifestation of your psychic energy." Then Black says, "Yeah, I've been trying to tell this bastard that we could just create a equal ground for us to stand on, but he's been fighting me ever since we were born." Shut the hell up. He only needs my power. Blackton just says, if only that dumbass. Only that dumbass didn't do that. Naruto then just says, eh, Naruto then just says, "I don't understand. You both want to help me, correct?" Black says, "Yeah, you were born with me. He's a fucking outsider.
At least I'm stronger than you.
Black then says, you aren't. We are literally the exact same strength. Just because you have something backing you doesn't mean you're stronger than me. All you are is a manifestation of his power that Naruto can handle.
Yeah, but still.
Black just gives up and says, oh my fucking god. Naruto says, outsider. What do you mean by outsider? He was put into you from a mix of a chakra beast, aka a tailed beast, and your father's psychic energy mixed together. All I am is a manifestation of your true psychic power. Naruto looks at it and says, hmm, so you are the manifestation of a tailed beast that apparently lives inside of me? And my father's psychic energy. First off, how does that work?
When you were born, the Nine Tails was sealed inside of you. Ever thought why people look at you weird?
Hmm, that does make I guess I do get looked at pretty weird. I thought that was just because I wear um orange in the streets a lot. Now, who's my father?
Your father is the fourth Hokage.
Hmm. Now that I think about it, we do look similar. And I can tell that you're not lying as you are a part of me, so you can't really lie to the thing that you are a subcategory of too. So, how is there any way that I can make you guys agree on something? Then White says,
All I want is the damn staff.
then Naruto's like, that's all you want? What? Then he turns to Black and says, why don't you just give him the staff? And he says, that staff is a that staff is a spirit weapon. That will become a part of you once you learn how to use it. If he takes that over, then he will have perfect he will have almost a 400% increase advantage in a fight against me. But the Nart says that, but you're the same way. You'll have that same advantage if you get it. Naruto then thinks and says, how about this? How about I take this and then I create it to where you both get exactly 50% of the staff. So you both get that power, and neither of you get a disadvantage or an advantage. White says,
I can't really fight with you, so sure.
and then Black says, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. That's what I was trying to tell you, you fucking dimwit.
Hey, fuck you.
Naruto then manifests the staff and says, how the hell did I do that? Black says, it's a this is a realm between reality and your mind. Don't think about it. Naruto then splits the staff in two, throws one part to Black and throws one part to White. And then he says, there, now when I go back out, I'm going to think that the spear, or sorry, staff, will be half white and half black. Is that right? They both nod their head. And then he goes out and Naruto looks at the staff and yes, it's half white, half black. Naruto then starts carrying it, but it's about like a foot. It's like a at least 3 foot tall, 3 foot tall staff. So he's gonna be able to use it at some point, but it's not gonna be something where he could like use it for. So that's like he's not gonna be able to use it for a bit. Naruto then absorbs Kyosho, and then he like goes into he like sort of does a thing eyes where his eyes like go black and white. His right eye goes black, his left eye goes white, and it, and it and his body sort of goes into a black like like portal or galaxy almost, and his eyes mesh together into a yin yang sign. And then the energy gets absorbed through that, and his eyes go back to the black on the black on right side, left on white on left side, and his body goes back to normal. Naruto Naruto's eyes then spark into red lightning, but the outline is different from Kyosho's. It's black. It's black. It's a black and white outline. It's a black and white outline. Naruto then just Naruto then says, "I guess that's why most of my attacks are black, or either red or black and white." Because Naruto's finger, like Naruto's like finger bullets are red, but whenever he shoots it, whenever he shoots it, they start switching between black and white. So Naruto then says, "Hmm, I need a from what happened before with the healing thing. I need to create a technique with that. I think I have an idea of how to do that, and then I need to make a technique with the power that this guy gave me." Naruto Naruto then Naruto we then skip to Naruto 2 years later. Naruto's just on the swing, minding his own business, when he senses Hinata getting picked on. Naruto goes over to where like Hinata is, and he says, "What are you piss ants doing?" The kids go up to him and start poking at him and say, "Ha! Look at you! It's the monster." Hinata then like runs up and like tries to pull them away, but the kid like knocks her down with his fist. And then he says, "Oh, your little boyfriend, is it? Then I don't care. How about I? How about this?" He then goes to punch, but Naruto, Naruto's eyes flash black and white, and the fist gets stopped midair. Naruto then says, "God, can you please just leave us alone?" Naruto and Hinata have met each other before, but it's not really Naruto and Hinata have met each other before, but they don't really like they've never really met officially. Like he's seen her before, but they've never like talked really. The kid tries to punch again, but the same thing happens. And the kid says, "Oh, what's happening with your eyes, monster?" Naruto then just says, "Oh God." Naruto then Naruto then picks up Naruto then takes the scarf around his neck off with a telekinesis sort of effect, and then wraps it around the kid, and it goes incredibly long somehow, and it's like increasing in length as it's wrapping around the kid. He then spins it, and the kid gets really dizzy and falls over. He then puts the scarf back on, and then the other kid runs in and tries to kick him. Naruto at the last second hits the kid with enough force to completely nullify the attack. Then the kid just falls to the ground, and then the other kid runs off, trying not to get hurt. The other kids get up and run off as well, and they're screaming, "Well, I'm telling my parents about that." And then Naruto goes and helps up Hinata, and she's sort of blushing. Hinata's sort of blushing, like, "Uh." And then Naruto just says, sorry about those guys. Are you okay?" Hinata says, "Yeah." Naruto can clearly see that she has like a sort of a bruise on her chest. Naruto then says, "Oh my god, if I don't." Naruto then says, if they find out there's a bruise here, and they knew that she was with me, they're gonna obviously think that I hit her. Naruto then touches the part of her chest where the bruise is. Hinata gets like, it flushes and like jumps back almost says, What are you doing?" Naruto then says, "I'm not trying to do that. There's a bruise on your chest. I need to heal it." He puts his hand on the bruise, and a black and white aura spins around his hand, and then like the bruise is completely healed. She says, "Thank you. What's your name? Sorry, I didn't get your name." Uh, Name's Naruto. Naruto. My name is Hinata Hyuga, heir to the Hyuga clan. I know you. I know who you are. Says, "Oh, I see." Naruto then says, "Sorry if I'm coming off as an ass. I just with all this shit that happens to me." Hinata's like, "Yes, I understand." Naruto then just Naruto then jumps back and flips backwards and then hits like this tree. Naruto flips back and goes back into the swing. Says, "Hey, would you like to come sit next to me and talk?" Naruto and Hinata talk for a couple hours, but then the Hyuga assistant comes and grabs Hinata and almost hits Naruto. But Naruto does the like eye thing and stops the punch. The Hyuga assistant just walks away with Hinata, like going really fast. The one time that I almost make a friend. We fast forward a year. Naruto at this point, Naruto's been sort of he's been going faster. He's been growing faster. Naruto at this point is around he's around 5'5". He's around 5'5", and he at age 6, and he can use the staff thing pretty easily. Naruto at this point, yeah, Naruto goes in. Naruto's training at night. Is training at night in a cave as he's trying to create a technique where it's like where it uses earth and like rocks, where he's trying to create like rocks and boulders. But as he's doing this, he feels as though a sharp rock like almost impales his like chest. He gets hit backward. He hits forward, but nothing's there. He turns around thinking it's like an enemy ninja or someone, but really it's a giant luminescent rock that looks a giant luminescent rock that has like tendrils and really sharp like pointy really sharp pointy tendrils. Naruto says, "I see." He takes off the spear, grips it with two hands, and says, "Black and white rip." He slashes down, and it's almost like a rip in reality happens as a half white, half black slash goes, and it goes straight through. It goes straight through the. It goes straight through. It goes straight through it, and it splits open. But the rock then multiplies. But Naruto says, "The fuck?" Even if it was a core, even if it has a core, I split it right through the middle. What the hell? Naruto then tries it again, but it multiplies again. It says, let me try something. But before he can finish his thought, two of the boulders, like that like hop forward and start going in at like hundreds of attacks a second, hundreds of attacks a second, just going, just going all around. Naruto has his eyes are black and white. His right one's black, his left one's right. His left one's white, and he's like dodging all these and says, if I didn't have if I wasn't using these, if I wasn't using my eyes like if I wasn't using my eye technique, then I would have been killed at least 13 times at this point. Naruto's forced out of the um like cave, and he says, "No time like the present, I guess, to try this." He then he then has he then puts his hands together in a praying motion, and he starts bringing them farther apart as white and black lightning is like forming off them. Then a then a ball, a perfectly spherical ball, with a lightning storm almost like in it. He puts it on his finger and says, "Kyosho style, finger pistol." The it hits the one that's jumping forward. It completely gets evaporated, and then it almost like a explosion makes like a splash effect, like 10 or 20 10 or 20 lasers, 10 black, 10 white, go off, and they start exploding all around the cave. The three others jump out and try to go to attack Naruto. Naruto dodges these, and he fights them onto like the walkway of the mountain. He says, I have about 4 to 5 feet of space. If I don't do this right, I will fall off and die." He then he then conjures a black orb in his right hand and says, "Black, hum." You hear as a hum sound happens, a orb that's about a sphere that could contain probably a couple hundred gallons of water appears above Naruto, and he says, "Black, black ball, compression." Then a ball the size of a probably baseball appears in his hand. He throws it. He throws it at a overhand. He throws it overhand, and it explodes and it hits the first guy. And then he goes into it like he absorbs into it, and then the other two absorb into it as well. Then it then it comes back to his hand, and then he throws it into his left hand and says, "White, absorb." And then the ball disappears. The ball disappears. White overtakes it as like a white orb overtakes it, and then it just disappears. Naruto says, "Whew, that's enough training for today." We skip forward another 3 years. Naruto at this point is around 5'11". Not 5'11", about 5'9", 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". And then we see Naruto practicing one of his new techniques. He's he he draws a circle in the air. He draws a circle in the air with his finger, and then he puts then he pokes his finger straight through the center, and almost like an explosive wave of half the like an explosive wave of almost sound or energy explode out, tearing tree after tree uproot. As these trees get uprooted, it seems as though tendril comes behind Naruto. Naruto grabs this tendril and he says, hmm. He tries to pull it, nothing happens. He lets go, the tendril flips backwards and it goes into one of the holes of the trees he uprooted. He turns his eyes on and then he says, "What's happening?" As he says that, thousands of tendrils go in and almost skewer Naruto. He jumps up at the last possible second, pulls out his staff, and then says, "Black white blade extension." Phoom. A half black, half white blade comes out of like the nub at the top of the like circle, and Naruto puts it behind himself and says, "Who's there?" A spe- a giant octopus-like spirit comes out of the ground. Says, "I am here. I am the manifestation of the fear of the forest. As so, I must protect the forest. You are damaging the forest." Naruto just laughs and says, "Oh, this is a big misunderstanding. I was going to," but before he could say anything, another tendril almost goes straight through his skull. He dodges out of the way, grabs the tendril, and says, "I was gonna say, I was going to replant these. I was going to replant all of these. I was going to replant all these with a special technique I made." The the spirit says, "You must pay for your crimes all now." Then another like a more like thousands of more go in and just thousands of like thousands of upon thousands of more tendrils come and try to like skewer Naruto. He starts dodging them all, and Naruto just says, "Oh my god, I just wanted to practice a technique. I didn't want to fight this thing." Naruto then takes out his has his spear and says, "Black black and white, gray." His The parts start overlapping and the like staff turns gray almost. Flashback. We flash back to about a year ago when Naruto was about 8. Naruto gets pulled into like the place during the day when he's doing some meditation. Says, "Why why am I here?" As he sees they're just going at it like incredible amounts of power. Naruto says, "I've had enough." He he puts his hand out and a he puts his hand out and says, "Stop now." His voice booms throughout the area and they just like are paralyzed. He says, "Is it impossible for you to not get along? Because if you're not getting along, then your host that you apparently like so much is going to be destroyed or killed because of you guys." White and Black are silent. Black says, "But he..." Naruto looks at him and says, "Stop." White says,
But I'm stronger.
Naruto looks over and says, "You are, if you would be half as strong. No, you would be more strong if you and him cooperated. Because you're not stronger. You, in theory, could be stronger. You both are the exact same power currently. You are both the exact same strength. How about you think about this? You guys don't have to love each other. You guys don't even have to like each other. Come to an understanding that if I ever need you guys to come together into a new form, you guys can do it without trying to kill each other. Naruto then says, because not everything is black or white. It's more gray. As he says that, the two then stop, go over to each other and say, Black says, I will cooperate with you if you stop going on about how much stronger you are. White says,
Yada yada. I'll cooperate. If you stop saying that I'm not truly a part of him.
the two then shake hands, and a blast of gray light happens as a new middle ground appears between the two. They can both step into it, like touch each other, but in here they can't fight. They can't attack each other. The way that they were fighting before, without like crossing over, they kept hitting each other on like this center point. The two of them go in there and say, and then Black says, he says, "Fine, I'll accept you. I'll accept you as a part of Naruto if you accept that we are both the same strength currently."
Okay, I'll accept that.
Naruto smiles and says, "See, was that hard?" They both look and say, "No, it wasn't." Like in unison. Naruto then blasts out, gets blasted back to his meditation and says, "Hmm." So we go back. It says gray. The the staff and the blade that like was made turn to gray. And as soon as he does this, he slashes once, and all of the all the tendrils are disintegrated instantly. Naruto then points the staff at the guy and says, "If you let me replant the trees, I won't kill you." The monster says, "Will you actually replant the trees?" Naruto's, "Yes, I have a ability that allows me to plant something and make it instantly grow." He then says, "Let me say now." Naruto then plants a tree at the snap of his finger and then white and white and black harmony. A half white, half black circle appears around the sapling, and he snaps his finger again, and a powerful tree sprouts up. The monster says, "Ah, oh, that's very interesting." Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. So yeah, the spirit says, "Oh, interesting. What may your name be?" "My name is Naruto. I, I'm sorry. I forgot. I didn't know that this was your domain. Can I please just can I please just repair this place, and I'll go. I'll never step foot back in here again." And says, "Oh, you are a interesting person. I like you." Naruto then says, "Okay, so can I go now?" And says, "Oh, yes, you can go, but please visit. You seem like an interesting person." Naruto repairs the force and says, "Thanks. May I get your name?" Oh, my name is D, is Weevil." Naruto tries not to laugh and thinks to himself, that's such a stupid name, and says, I can hear your thoughts, you know that, right? Naruto stops and says, I'm so sorry. Weevil then says, uh, no, it's fine. A lot of other spirits think so too. We then skip forward. They, like we, Naruto then leaves and says, "Thank you, Mr. Weevil, for letting me live." Weevil, Weevil, laughs and says, "Oh yes, no problem, young man." As Naruto's like, as Naruto's leaving, Weevil thinks to himself, "Hmm, three people living in one body. Interesting." We skip forward a year to when Naruto is about 10 years old. Naruto Naruto's training and a kid with black hair and weird eyes jumps behind him. Naruto says, "Who are you?" "Ah, my name's Sasuke Uchiha. Your name's Naruto Uzumaki, correct?" "Yes." Didn't wait, Uchiha? That Uchiha? "Yeah, that Uchiha. So, you seem to you seem to have a you seem to be you seem to have a psychic ability as well, right?" Naruto nods his head and said, Yes." Sasuke then activates his Sharingan, and it has three Tomoe, and Naruto says, Wow, you already have three Tomoe at age 10?" Because Naruto did a lot of research at like the library. He knows that on average you'd have to wait a couple, like at least till you're probably like into your late 20s, early 30s for like a three Tomoe Sharingan. Sasuke says, "Not just that. It then goes into his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan pattern." Naruto says, What's that?" Sasuke says, "Oh, this is what's called an Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. The people of the Uchiha clan can only get these when they first unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan, and then use the eyes of someone, and rip out the eyes of someone that they're related to by blood, and then put those eyes in their eye sockets." Naruto's like, that is horrific. Sasuke's like, yeah, yeah. Naruto's like, wait a second. Sasuke says, no, no. He puts his hand up, like, no, no, I didn't do that. I have psychic abilities as well. Naruto's like, really? Sasuke says, yeah. My ability is, for each Tomoe in my Sharingan, I get one ability. Naruto says, you have six abilities? He says, oh, no, no. He says, no, no. I have. He says, no, no. I have three abilities. Then plus two for my Mangekyo Sharingan. So I have five abilities. Naruto then says, that's still a lot. Sasuke then says, I guess. Sasuke then blit then he says, first he then says, you want me to show you my abilities? Naruto nods his head and says, yeah, sure. He then says, first first Tomoe. As he as he says first Tomoe, the- a Tomoe in his right and left eye start glowing. Says, dude. As he says this, a it's almost like a a seal in the shape of a tomoe gets plastered on a tree. Then Naruto says, "What?" Then he says, "Dune." Then another one gets plastered on another tree. He then says, he then says, "Attract." He then does like a ripping. He then does like a tearing motion in the air, and then the two trees collide against each other, like and then like just start like explode in the air when they hit each other. Says, "Damn, that's one powerful ability." Naruto, Sasuke now says, "Yeah," and honestly, that was just that was just a normal like a slower demonstration. Usually, I can do that within like a second or two. Naruto says, "Wait, what's your other ones?" Sasuke then says, "Second Tomoe, run." As he says this, as he says this, it's as he says this, a two weapons, two weapons appear at his sides. On his right, on his right, a sword. On his right, a sword. On his left, a hammer. He says, "My second Tomoe ability is sort of like a brawler type." The weapons are attached. The weapons are attached, by the way. So yeah, Sasuke then goes and cuts down a tree. Cuts a tree in one swoop, and then smashes a tree. He then picks up the. He then uses the chain. He then uses the chain that connects them, and then spins it, and then slams the hammer into a tree like a 50 feet away, and then throws the sword into a tree, going all the way through, and then pulls them together, and then he picks them up back up, and then they disappear. So it's interesting. And then Sasuke does his third Tomoe. Third Tomoe, Zan. As he says this, as he says this, two identical clones of himself appear. And Naruto says, "Oh, are these like shadow clones?" And says, "No, they are perfect replicas of myself." Naruto then goes and hits one in the stomach, and it doesn't disappear at all. Then he asks, "Do these guys have?" Then he says, They have my first two. They don't have my third Tomoe ability because I can't make an army like that. I just That'd be way too taxing on my body." Naruto then nods and says, "That's pretty powerful. What else your Mangekyo ability?" He then the two then go back into himself. He says, "Yeah, I can't use my Sharingan abilities when I have my Mangekyo activated." Naruto, Naruto says, "Okay." He then goes into his Mangekyo and says, I have two abilities, but really I have three abilities in this state as well. But the third one I just haven't unlocked yet. The first ability, he then shows off his a bit like his like Amaterasu and flame control, how he can use those. It says, and Naruto says, "What's the third ability you're talking about? The third ability you talk about?" He then says, is that ability is called Susano." He says, "Susano." He says, "Yeah, it's a sort of like a creature, sort of like a person or creature around you." Naruto nods and says, I see, I see. Hmm. Is there anything else you can do with your thing?" Says, "There's one other thing I can do." He then he then goes into his normal Sharingan, and then then he the inside of his eye starts glowing. It says nature. And in this he can do like nature release jutsu. It says with this I can do basic ninjutsu. Hmm. Naruto then just like nods and says, "That's actually it's very useful." Sasuke nods his head and then turns that ability off and turns off Sharingan. Naruto then asks, "So, why are you here?" It says, "Oh, I want to train with you." Naruto says, "Are you sure?" Sasuke nods his head and says, "Yes." Naruto says, "Okay, I'll go easy on you." As soon as Sasuke hears this, he activates his Sharingan and says, "Try to go easy on me and see what happens." Naruto then says, "Okay." He then creates a. He then uses his finger pistol, his finger pistol technique. But now they're advanced. They're like actual bullets. They're like actual bullets in like the shape of bullet casings, and they're outlined. They're outlined with black and white, and they're on both hands now. And he says, "Let's go." He blitzes forward and starts blasting these off. Sasuke is dodging them left and right. Sasuke then says, "First, Tomoe." And before Naruto could even think about it, two boulders are being slammed with him in the middle. He drops down and says, "Holy hell! There's no boulder. Where did you get those?" Says, "There's there's a rock. There's a area. There's an area with the rocks. There's an area with the rocks about 1500 meters that way." Says, "What the fuck?" Says, "What the hell?" Naruto then jumps. Sasuke then puts them on trees on like a on like a like on the trees around them, and then like at least 10 to 20 trees just crash in the center where Naruto is. Naruto, the trees break down, and Naruto just there like panting. He's like, if I, if I didn't go intangible, those things would have fucking killed me. Before Naruto could even breathe, Sasuke jumps into the air and screams, "Second Tomoe!" He takes his weapons, throws the sword at Naruto. Naruto steps out of the way, but then Sasuke tugs on the chain, pulling himself forward, pulling himself forward, and then slams the hammer into Naruto. Naruto goes flying. Picks up the Sasuke picks up the sword. He does the same thing where he does the same thing but in the opposite way. He does the hammer. Naruto dodges the hammer. Sasuke pulls the chain, and then he goes in to cut Naruto's head off almost. Naruto tries to go intangible. Naruto tries to go intangible, but then he remembers that he can only go intangible once a day. Naruto dodges his head, like ducks his head to the side, and then grabs Sasuke. But as he does this, Sasuke takes his other hand that was on the chain and says, "Third Tomoe." Two other Sasuke jump out of his back and then grab Naruto's arms and pull him down. Sasuke puts the sword to Naruto's neck and says, "Had enough?" Naruto laughs and says, "Nice." Naruto then says, finger pistol bullets, discharge." As he says this, the two clones get blasted back, and Sasuke says, "What?" Naruto then kicks Sasuke in the stomach, and then says, "Finger pistol bullet, full absorb." He blasts it, and then it hits Sasuke dead center of the chest, and he gets blasted backwards, and it slams him into like 30 trees. He stops at a tree. Naruto then gets in front of him and says, "Huh, interesting." most most people would have died because of would have died from that. All you sustained was a broken. Actually, no. The only thing you sustained was like was internal bleeding. Naruto puts his hand on Sasuke's chest and starts healing him. Sorry, starts healing him. Sasuke's healed, and Naruto says, "Oh, how about we train together?" Sasuke nods his head and says, "Yeah, sure." Yeah. Fast forward 4 more years. Naruto and Sasuke are in class. They're just goofing around. It's the last day. It's the day of their test. It's the last day that they're in the academy. They're just goofing around while Iruka's talking. He says, "Naruto, Sasuke, what are you doing?" Naruto and Sasuke just start just like they turn and says, uh, "Nothing, Sensei." Says, "Okay." Shikamaru says, "You, how is it Eddie? How is it that you two goof around the entire class, but still make the top two spots?" Naruto says, "Back at you. How do you sleep and make the top third spot?" Shikamaru just goes back to sleeping. Iruka then explains, "Now we will test. Now all of you. Now we'll be calling you each in one by one." It goes through and then calls Naruto. Sasuke says, "Let's see if you get put onto the finals, huh? Finals, idiot." Naruto just laughs. Naruto goes in and says, "So what do I need to do?" Says, "Show us a technique." Naruto says, "Any technique?" Says, "Sure." And said, "Yeah, sure. That's yeah." Just uh, okay. Naruto Naruto then says, "Is there a ninja anywhere?" Says, "Do you need one?" Says, yeah, I need one. The technique I want to show you requires another person." Says, "Okay. Uh, Mizuki, go up and be a test dummy." Says Mizuki goes up and says, "So, what do you need me for, Naruto?" Please don't freak out." Naruto takes out a kunai and and says, I'm going to cut off your forearm from your elbow all the way up. Don't get scared." What the hell?" Says, "Don't get scared." Ruka's like, "Naruto, what are you doing?" Says, "Don't worry about it." Mizuki says, Naruto says, Naruto looks at Mizuki dead in the eyes and says, "Don't worry about it." Mizuki calms down and says, "Okay." Naruto cuts off the arm, and Mizuki's like, Naruto says, "Calm." He he puts his palm to the wound and says, "Black white healing." As he says that, a purple ring around the wound happens and then starts regrowing the hand. It goes to the forearm, then the hand, then the fingers, and then it's completely healed. No like stitches, no nothing. Miyu says, "What the hell?" Iruka says, "I see." Iruka then calls in a person. A person comes in and he says, "Is this one of them? Is this one of you?" Is he one of you? The the guy goes up and says, "Hmm, I thinks he is. I thinks he is." There's this. Who are you? Says, "Oh, my name is Shane. I'm a psychic. I'm a psychic ranked tuning from. I'm a tuning ranked psychic from the psychic core." Says, "What? Yeah, you didn't think that you were the only psychic around, did you?" Says, I didn't think I was, but a core? Yeah, just like the Anbu and the normal ninjas and the interrogation and all that. There's a core for leaf ninjas that are psychics. So you can either choose to be a normal ninja, a psychic, or in the psychic core, or you can be a mix of both. Naruto says, if I'm a psychic, if I'm a part of the psychic core full time, can I still become the Hokage?" Naruto, the Shane says, no, no, you can't. Naruto says, okay, I'll be a mix. If I'm still mixed, can I become the Hokage? Shane says, you can. Yes, you can. Says, what's the difference? Says, well, if you were full time, you would get full time training with your psychic abilities. But if you're half and half, you'll only get half the training. Naruto says, oh, so it's just because I'm a psychic that it would be sort of an unfair advantage to me. Shane says, yep. Naruto nods and says, okay, yeah, I'll go half and half. Shane then says, okay. Shane then takes one of the like leaf headbands, and then he does a slit. He then does a slit in it, and then writes. He then does a slit at the bottom of the leaf thing, and then puts PC for psychic core. Naruto puts it on and says, looking snazzy. Says, okay, now you'll be coming with me. Naruto says, wait, since I'm half and half, don't I also have to take the ninja exam to make sure that I actually get into like being a ninja? Shane says, I guess you are right. Okay, go back to the class. So they go back. Naruto goes back. Sasuke goes in. He comes back with the same thing. And says, Did you go half and half? So Sasuke nods his head and says, yeah. Then then Ino comes back with the same thing. Naruto says, what? Ino goes up to them and says, You're you're both psychics? Says, yeah, you are? Says, yeah, I am. Says, did you go half and half or says, yeah, I went half and half. Okay. And say, okay, what's your psychic ability? Oh, it's my mind transfer. That's not really a ninjutsu, it's actually the psychic ability. Naruto and Sasuke just hit themselves in the heads like, of course the psychic ability. How did we not? Then 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 Ino, then Shikamaru comes back with this with the PC thing. He comes over to the guys and is like to Ino and Naruto and Sasuke and says, "What? You guys are psychics?" And then he says, "Okay, what is your ability? Because I know it's not your shadow possession because that's a ninjutsu. Uh, what is what?" Says, "Oh, my enhanced intellect." Says, "That's not a psychic." And says, "No, my intellect is smarter than every single Hokage and Jonin that has ever existed put together is still not to the level of my IQ. I can create perfect strategies in my mind within a fraction of a second." Narson's just, yeah, yeah, that sounds pretty. Yeah, yeah, that makes, yeah. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Then some other kids go, the rest of the kids go. No one comes back with the PC thing. Now Naruto and Sasuke, everyone they go through the like normal. Naruto and Sasuke go through it literally without even like they do the entire thing with their eyes closed. They both rank top. They both rank top. They both rank. Naruto gets number one. Sasuke gets number two. Naruto's named Rookie of the Year, and then Shikamaru, and Shikamaru, Sasuke, and Naruto. They all go with Shane to do the entrance exam to the Psychic Corps. Naruto and Naruto. So what will we be doing here exactly? Or well, for this exam at least. Says, oh, what you need to do is what you need to do is use will give you this. He then points at a cage, and it's a mid level spirit. Spirit says you all are. Says, it's a mid high level spirit. Sorry, says I can tell that you would all probably decimate anything I gave you. But what I need you to do is use all of your psychic abilities together to try to beat that thing. And that thing isn't just a normal mid high level either. It has a it is juiced up on a lot of stuff. It may seem mid high, but really it could be considered a high or even beyond. Don't worry, we have people that are on standby if you guys almost get killed. Naruto and Sasuke say, okay. Shikamaru says, use your ability to broadcast my thoughts to those two. You two be you two be offense. You two be offense. Make sure we stay protected. Shane, as soon as he hears this, just smiles. He then jumps back and says, "Okay, go." As he says that, the wall behind the wall and thing, it's a giant it's a monstrosity. It has like a oni. It has an oni mask. It has a demon like an oni mask. It has an oni mask, but it has a stomach. It also has a stomach that has it has like a stomach that's open like a mouth, an eye inside of there, and it's a ginormous hulking thing, at least 10 feet tall. It's at least 10 foot tall, and it's like its arms. It's at least 10 foot tall. The first thing it does is a beam of a like a explosive beam shoots out. Naruto says, "I got that." He then activates his eyes and says, "Barrier." A barrier, an invisible barrier is put up. It almost breaks. This is, fuck, that's powerful. And Naruto says, "Okay, Ino, Shikamaru, get behind those pillars. Sasuke, keep an eye on Sasuke. We're gonna be going, okay? I'll make sure those guys are safe." He then takes his staff out and says, "Behave." He throws it and he says, "Black, white, gray, shield." As he says that, the staff goes out. The staff evaporates, and a dome goes over the two. Shikamaru says, "Okay, Sasuke, Naruto, I don't know what you guys have as psychic abilities, but give me the rundown." They give them the rundown, and Shikamaru says, "Okay, Naruto, do you have a power? Do you have like a way to enhance something? Naruto says, "Yeah, I can do something like that." He then says, "Okay, you are clearly stronger. So you aggro the guy. You get the attention of the spirit. Sasuke, be on the sort of lookout. Naruto, you're going to do do damage to it, but try your best not to go overboard because there's something weird about this thing." Naruto jumps forward and starts going for kicks and punches. Naruto feels that something is weird. Naruto gets Naruto starts going, but the guy then instantly grabs his foot and throws him into the wall. Naruto says, yeah, I think." Shikamaru says, "Yeah, the more damage you do, the more the more powerful it becomes." Uh, Naruto, you said you can create things, right? You can create new abilities. Naruto says, "I think I can, yes, but I need at least 10 minutes to think of the concept, and after that 10 minutes, I don't even know if it will be functional." So, and then Shikamaru then says, "Can you use a technique while you're doing this?" And says, "I can, but the technique will be incredibly weakened." Shikamaru says, "Okay, use your enhancement technique on Sasuke. Sasuke, try your best to keep the thing occupied." Sasuke jumps over to Naruto and says, "Okay." Naruto says, "Black and white enhancement." He then slams his palm on Sasuke's chest and says, "Go." Naruto goes into a meditation, and he goes into his into the plane with white and black. They're currently in gray form with the barrier, and he says, "Okay, I need a I need something like that monster's technique." The gray says, "What? What? Uh, You expect me to be able to help you with this while I'm trying to while I'm doing this barrier?" Says, "Yes, I." Then Nar says, "Yes, I need it." Says, I, Nar says, Can you at least try?" Says, "Okay, I'll try." Naruto and Gray put their hands together and they start thinking it up. Go back to the real world. Go back to the real world. And Sasuke is trying his best to keep this thing occupied. He's dodging as many attacks as possible. By the way, the area that they're in, it's the Forest of Death. It's like, no, okay, it's not the Forest of Death. It's a giant open. It's a giant open place. It's a giant open field. It's a giant open place that has like sort of walls. It has like walls and obstacles everywhere, and like trees. Sasuke's trying his best not to like damage the thing, not to like he used his third Tomoe ability. His third Tomoe ability. Yeah. So he's just punching. He's trying not to punch or kick it. He's just trying to make sure like get its attention. Sasuke tries to rip off the Oni mask, but as soon as he tries to touch the Oni mask, the thing grabs him this, and throws him so fast that he hits a tree. It takes all the it takes all of the energy, and the tree explodes into like little pieces. He almost goes unconscious, but then the two clones absorb back into them. Says, "What the fuck? Don't touch the thing's Oni mask." Apparently, Sasuke gets up and says, "Second Tomoe." a the hammer and the sword come in. Says, okay, let me think about this. Hmm. Assuming if I hit that eye, it'll increase the power by even more. So how? As he's thinking about this, we go back to Naruto. Naruto, Naruto and Gray are like, uh, 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 they're trying to construct it, and he says, "How about this?" And it's like, "No, that's not gonna work. How about this? Maybe that could work." And they keep trying these things. We go back out to Sasuke. Sasuke came up with a strategy. He he gets the creature's attention by throwing the sword yanking himself to it, and then yanking himself to it. He says, and to get the attention, and then it comes after him and just keep doing the same thing. So Shikamaru says, "Keep this up. We've been doing it for about 6 or 7 minutes. Naruto should be coming soon." We go back. Oh, shit. Sorry about that. Naruto then says, "Okay, then they can say, okay, this is a basic format. We have about 2 minutes from the deadline we gave them. Let's test this." They test it for a little bit and says, okay, this should work. They go back out and Naruto says, okay, I have a I mean incredibly, just under, just incredibly basic premise for this. Sasuke jumps to Naruto and says, okay, how does this work? How does your thing work? He says, okay, let me try this. Hit me. Sasuke hits him over the head with hits him with a hammer, and then Naruto says, "Okay, I think this could work." Naruto enhances him, and then he starts hitting. And then Sasuke starts hitting him with the hammer. The people on like because they've been communicating by telepathy through the like mind abilities, So all of the like proxies are like, what the hell's happening? Ino blast like the thoughts. Says, "Don't worry, this is what we're doing this for a strategy." Like Shikamaru says that. So Naruto then says, "Okay, that should be enough." Takes off the enhancement and says, "My theory is." And then Naruto and Sasuke say at the same time, "We have to destroy it, and we have to destroy it within 1 second without it getting stronger." They look at each other, and Naruto says, "Okay." He then says, "Can I see that? Can I see that sword?" Naruto takes the sword and says, "Ama, could you Amaterasu it for me?" He puts Amaterasu in the sword. Naruto then powers his, and the sword's flames are now black and white. It says, "Now, let's do this." Naruto jumps forward. Sasuke jumps forward and says, Sasuke screams, "First Tomoe." Then two ginormous boulders go, and as soon as they're about to hit, Naruto says, Naruto says, "Amaterasu, black and white, reality rip." And they stream together. Synchronized attack. Psychic, psychic sever. As soon as the boulders hit together, the sword chops through, and the thing evaporates. The boulders crack. The boulders blow up into like millions of pieces. Naruto gives the sword back, and then he goes and absorbs it, and says, "Whoa, that's strong." He then calls back his staff and puts it on his back. Says, "Whoa, that's some power right there." Sasuke says, "Wow." Says, "Okay, that's whew." as as they finish this, Ino and Shikamaru come up and say, "Eh, that was crazy." Shane comes down and says, "Wow, I dashed. We were gonna pass you guys. Oh, sorry, we were gonna pass you guys. We were gonna pass you guys because of your teamwork, but we didn't think you would actually do that." Naruto and Sasuke just smile to themselves. Shikamaru and Ino say, "These two." Shane then says, "Well, you'll still be in your normal teams. So Naruto and Sasuke, you're on a team. Shikamaru and Ino, you guys are on a team. You guys will still be in your normal Genin squad, but you'll be on a squad together in the Psychic Corps with one other person. A girl, a girl jumps out. A girl, a girl jumps out and says, 'Hey, my name's Kiku.'" And then Naruto says, "Kiku, interesting." Uh, as he says this, he feels something touch his back. He goes to turn around, but then his cloak gets, because Naruto's wearing a half black, half white cloak with a half black, half white vet with a half white, half black. Like he's wearing a trench coat that's half white, half black, and he's wearing a black vest underneath that. He's wearing a white shirt underneath that. And then his pants are pure black, and then his sandals are pure white. So his trench coat gets flipped over. Says, What the hell?" What's that? And then a sword made out of like pure energy comes floating from his back. Says, "Yeah, that's my psychic ability." Shannon says, "Her psychic ability is called Energy Cutter. She makes swords out of pure energy, and then she controls them with her mind." Says, "Oh," and the nurse says, "Oh, sort of like a manipulation and telekinesis, sort of like matter manipulation and telekinesis." The he then nods his head and then nods his head. And says, "Yeah, that's perfect. That's actually a perfect comparison." Shane says, "You," and says, "You five are going to make up Team New. You guys are incredibly promising. Is your as well as all your as well as the rest of your generation of psychics. But you guys are incredible. You guys haven't even scraped the surface of how powerful your abilities could be." Naruto, like they all look at each other and say, "Really?" Says, "Yeah, especially you, Naruto. The sky. Honestly, there's probably no limit to how powerful you can be." Naruto just like laughs and like scratches his back and says, "Really?" Says, "Probably." And it says, "You, Sasuke, the way that your ability works, it's very, very incredible. Same with you and Shikamaru." Shikamaru says, "What? All my ability is incredible wits." Says, "It's not wits. It's not specifically your intelligence. It's your mind." Shikamaru thinks and says, "What?" Shane smiles and says, "Yeah." And then Ino says, "But what about my mind transfer?" Says, "Exactly. Your mind transfer. It's not just mind transfer. Think about everything else you could do." She thinks about it and says, I can't think of anything." Shikamaru starts singing and says, "Could you create an astral projection of yourself?" Shane then says, "Bingo. That's something you might be able to do." And then you, Kiku, you you could create bigger swords, maybe. Kiku then says, "Yeah, I know, it's not that cool." And Art says, "The hell? It's really cool. The way that it works is I don't think it's just swords that you might be able to create. You can already create like things out of energy. What's stopping you from trying to create like axes or like complex shapes or just use energy itself? Because but I wait. Shane then says, "See, Shane then says, so for the leader, your leader will be not." But before he can say it, Naruto says, "Shikamaru." He says, "But," says, "I may be smart, but Shikamaru." Shikamaru says, what a drag." And then he says, "I will hold you to that, by the way. I will hold you to the position of leader." Naruto, Shikamaru just says, what a drag." Says, Naruto and Sasuke. Shane says, "Well, I can see that you guys together are around, honestly, high Jonin rank, because that thing, I think it was at least a high level spirit. So your first your first official power your first official mission. There's a powerful spirit that has been killing citizens in a small village in the land of fire." It says, "What village?" The village, the village hidden in the village hidden in the waterfalls. And Naruto says, "Oh, okay." Shikamaru says, "Okay." Shikamaru says, "Okay, guys, we will be leaving in five. We will be leaving in 10 minutes. Meet at the gate within 10 minutes, or you'll be carrying the entire team's luggage. Understood?" Everyone's like, "Yeah." Everyone just disappears. Naruto says, "Hmm, good leadership, to be honest. Sorry, sorry, good leadership, to be honest." Naruto then disappears. They go into the. They then meet up at the gate. Naruto says, "Okay, everyone ready?" Kumar says, "Yeah, is everyone ready?" Everyone says, "Yeah, we're fine. We're ready." Sasuke, Naruto says, "All right, it's up to you now, Shikamaru." Shikamaru says, "Mean Mendosai, let's go." Everyone then dashes off, and that is where I will be leaving this part.